My capstone is Grandeur, Why Beauty Matters, How Sacred Art is Important to Emotional Well-Being. I wanted to say thank you to our professors and our advisors and just all the feedback everyone has given over the years on this project. I have already gotten to start implementing it. I've already started to get using it in parishes, and I'm really excited just for the opportunities that it's bringing and hopefully making a difference for people in their own faith lives and their own spiritual lives and just overall wellness. So thank you. Thank you for the experience. This presentation is going to kind of talk about the importance of beauty, the way of beauty, and my main sources are Pope Benedict XVI, Hans Urs von Balthasar, Diedrich von Hildebrand, and there's some John Paul II in there, Bishop Robert Barron, of course, and we have some Aquinas, and of course our Catholic meta model going. The psychological components and the theoretical components of this project stemmed from art therapy, which originally came from psychoanalytic theory. So those are my theories that I used, and they go really well with theological aesthetics and the study of beauty, and transcendental sacred beauty too. So just really cool how those got to connect, not only through art having symbolism, but also spiritually and emotionally, not just through a creator, but how we view art. And then the community and populations that I will serve will mostly be young adults, college students, but also the forums are open to lay people and clergy. And then we can go over the implementation and the evaluation and just kind of beauty in regards to human flourishing. And I've always loved this quote to start this project off. In contemporary America, most people are not moved by claims of truth or goodness. Relativism has made truth to be whatever you want, thereby turning the good into whatever makes you feel good. So how can you engage the average non-believer? How can you place him on the road that would lead him back to the truth and the good? Show him beauty. So why beauty? In 2009, Benedict would write and also have a meeting with artists, but the book he would write, or the compilation that would be published, would be his Theology of the Liturgy, where he speaks frequently on the importance of beauty, which stemmed partly from this meeting with artists that he had, where he engaged in a very hopeful discussion about how this particular kind of beauty, whether it's a painting or a mosaic or a cathedral or some other form of architecture or even music, he made it very clear that he believes that art, in light of the human creature shaped by God, of freedom and the drama in his redemption that extends between heaven and earth and flesh and spirit, it is the light of a beauty that shines out from within a work of art, and it opens our mind to the sublime. And I've always loved that connection. It takes our mind to something higher. So the truly beautiful is transcendental for that reason. It means we are able to reach the deepest levels of the human person with it. And Bishop Barron speaks frequently on this, which is promoting this way of beauty and stating how Hans Urs von Balthasar teaches that the best evangelistic strategy is to capture those people with the beautiful, then enchant them with the good, then lead them to the truth. And when you start with beauty, the good and the true take care of themselves. So, because the way of beauty is non-defensive. You're just asking someone to, hey, come sit here, or look at this thing, or let's go visit this place or listen to this piece. And since God is direct beauty and the source of all beauty, beauty is therefore the ultimate truth and good. And Benedict stressed this point. He said that real art should make us want to seek the truth. And that through viewing the world's order and beauty, a person can come to a greater knowledge of God and the origins of the universe. That's what the Catechism of the Catholic Church says. Bishop Connolly, also promoter of beauty. He says beauty is both ancient and it's new, and it exists in a sphere beyond space and time. Therefore, which is beautiful is a gateway to timelessness, that is eternity. Beauty matters in an eternal sense because beauty was a part of God's creative plan in the very beginning, and it's a part of his redemptive plan now. He uses beauty to lead us back to himself. So, in learning that, we also are able to tie that into our Catholic Christian meta model, where it says humans themselves are aesthetic and they seek beauty and they are naturally drawn to finding deeper levels of beauty, which means the true order of our nature of wanting to contemplate God is also who is the ultimate source of beauty. It seems like a great avenue to approach people when it comes to their flourishing. Most of my literature review revolved around how people view art versus most of the research in art is based off of the process clinically of the artists themselves. So, but how does one perceive the art? How does interpreting it affect our emotions? How does being around it, just in the environment of art itself, of beauty itself, affect us? Versus, whereas most of the research centered in psychoanalytic theory and art therapy is the actual process of creating art and how that makes someone feel. But I think there's a gap in that research to how we, as an audience, as a participant in the art, also can be affected. So that's kind of what my psychological review centered around. And there's that question, is beauty really in the eye of the beholder? And we go to von Hildebrand for that, saying that beauty isn't subjective. It has an objective reality, and he informs us that beauty is beauty to the second power. And without running out of time here, what I found in the psychological research portion in the theories, a lot of the sources asked, why do we gravitate to certain works of art? What makes it different? What are we more attracted to? The color, the size, the realism? The creation of the art provides an avenue for beauty itself to be found. So art is really important in that sense. And beauty allows for supernatural contemplation and is something that is created while also being a response to a created thing, which is what contemplation is. And contemplation is a kind of beholding. It is to see the world transfigured. So, how does a person see beauty in art? Does having a background with art make a difference in how they see beauty in art? Does having education in it or some prior knowledge about it? Those are some questions that I also asked with this research. I also wanted to know kind of what the research that was out there on how viewing art, not just creating art, but how viewing art affects our anxiety levels, our stress levels. What is it like to be in a sacred space? How does the environment, the actual architectural environment, affect us psychologically, and how we not only feel in that moment, but also what the person is processing and how they, not just how they feel about the art, but how they feel about themselves. So there were a lot of different avenues that I could take with this. And initially, overall, kind of what I found is that art can elicit emotional responses, positive and negative. And the beautiful allows for an opportunity to go deeper than the average subject of art. Um, hence the transcendental part of beauty. So the overall effect that beautiful art has, meaning sacred art, whether it's um, the architecture or the painting or the mosaic or the sculpture, etc., the overall difference with that art is that real art should make us want to seek truth. To be able to tell between what captivates us in a positive manner and points us towards the good, that beauty to the second power, versus which art does not transcend the material world, the secular world that we live in. So the proposal here is to educate people, to host forums, to have seminars and discussions with anyone welcome to join, even though it will be directed at college students and priests and clergy members, to think about the spaces that they have around them, their chapels, their Catholic campus centers, their parishes, and suggest and teach on the power that beauty can have in their spaces, not only in fostering community, and that's kind of where my target population comes in here, but bringing growth to that community, making those connections with people, but also for people to get to be in a space where they can ask questions about their purpose and find meaning in their lives. The last thing that I would want to get to here would be something that our Pope has recently said, and I think it's well stated when we see that Pope Francis reminds us that beauty is a way in which someone can keep from sinking into despair and anxiety, where creativity and art can be a source of light and hope. There's also a lot of hopes for this project for people. My hope really is that interacting with these college students and young adults on a deeper, more intrinsic level can show them how meaning and happiness can be found through the means of transcendental beauty. There will be a lot of effort to promote a revival of beauty within the Catholic Church, with a renewed understanding of the importance of sacred art and architecture and sacred music. The primary key to that is bringing people back to the church. Ultimately, beauty can also assist people in their life to live a life full of flourishing and increase their spiritual and emotional well-being through experiences that allow for a deeper inner contemplation and reflection of ourself and the world and God himself. So thank you for listening, and I can't wait to listen to your guys' projects too.